Last year, Garmin debuted the groundbreaking Xero bow sight and rapidly revolutionized the world of bow hunting. Garmin's very own Rehan Nana is joining us with his Xero bow sight in hand to bring home his very first Texas whitetail deer.
So we're down here in South Texas. I think it's about 2 hours away from San Antonio. You know, I'm coming from Kansas City, hunting kind of that Midwest area. So coming down to Texas with this type of stuff, it's big country, it's beautiful, it's really interesting. You know, pulling up here, I didn't know what to expect, but there's a lot of ground to hunt here. You know, see a lot of deer already. I mean, I think I saw a couple driving in. So I was just really excited to get down here, check the place out. You know, food was already ready down here, but I was kind of champing at the bit to get out hunting. This week we're down here going after Texas whitetail. You know, you always hear about Texas deer, the size, everything about them, and so I was really excited to get the invite down here and to try out the new Xero.
It's the morning of day one out here in deer camp, and a strong cold front is blown through, along with some pretty gusty winds. Let's see how it affects today's game plan.
Coming down to Texas, I thought it was going to be 65 and sunny. The weather changed pretty quick down here, and I felt like I was back home in Tornado Alley. I mean, we just had north winds going 20, 25 miles an hour. So talking with Wade, we kind of made the decision in the morning, just with the wind, to really set up in a ground blind that we put up. It was on some oats, so a food plot there, and great setup, you know, back brushed in a bit there, and immediately deer started coming through. And, you know, as much as we say it as hunters, I mean, it never gets old seeing those animals, you know, in their element, doing their thing. Down here, what's really nice is they follow a management program for those bucks, and so really one of the things that we were looking for is that 4+-year-old 8-point, you know, 5+-year-old 10-point. And so that first day, while we saw some deer coming through that were nice, they were young. And it's just following that plan gives an opportunity to really have a constructive management program out here, really healthy deer, and get the opportunity for the deer that you're looking for. Rust, here we go. Going right over there too. Not a shooter, but. There's a good deer. You know, the wind is both, I guess, kind of your best friend and worst enemy sometimes. One of the things that's really nice is that it covers sound a lot better. And so, you know, speaking with Rusty, our cameraman, still in that low, hushed voice, but being able to just kind of communicate back and forth, you know, admiring those deer that were coming through, talking about the different ones. And so that was nice. It's sometimes it helps you out so you're not just sitting there in dead silence and dead still, you know, so a little bit more sociable aspect of it sometimes. So we're out here on day one, and we snuck in here about an hour before, just in time. Saw a nice axis come through. It was still young, and then deer started flooding in. It was great. You know, there was a couple possible shooters there, but it's day one, so we just kind of decided to pass on it. But a lot of opportunity here, and it's just great to see this many deer on day one, you know. Right now, as you may be able to tell, we got quite a bit of wind going on, and so we'll set up in a ground blind. I'm not as familiar with the ground blind as I am stands, but I was out getting shot in and everything like that yesterday. It's about 8:45 right now, and deer have kind of stopped moving through, so we're gonna turn in, get some breakfast, and then hopefully get back out here this afternoon. This morning we saw a lot of deer. Wind was picking up. We're actually moved to a different ranch called the Eveline down here. And we got a nice creek bottom draw. And apparently pretty much everything moves through here. So we're just gonna kind of wait and see what comes through. But hopefully we can get our buck tonight. We already got movement down there. Luckily that weather kind of moved through a little bit, but we still had some wind. So in that tripod with the wind, wasn't able to communicate with Rusty on that one as much. And so it was pretty critical that we weren't moving as much. You know, you got to be careful. And when we set in, it was kind of crazy. Almost immediately we had deer coming in. I didn't even have time to put on my coat. And I think I counted about 12 deer just sitting, you know, within 30 yards of us. We had an axis come through. Then we also had, you know, just does moving through. A few small bucks, wasn't what we were looking for, but that's patience. I guess it's a first shoot. The way that tripod's set up, there's a couple different shooting lanes, but it's pretty, you know, there's timber and it's pretty brushy. And, you know, out of the corner of my eye, you know, I see this really, really nice buck coming through, and I just got a glimpse of him, and so immediately just kind of stopped moving. He was staying in a thicker draw area, so just kind of slowly got back, settled in, and got a really good look at him, and, you know, immediately knew that was kind of the deer I was looking for. I mean, just immediately knew that that was in that age class that we were looking for. That was a fantastic buck, and you wish you could just draw up immediately right then. You wish he had that shot, but he didn't want to give us an opportunity, and so he stayed pretty thick. I was thinking, you know, where he was at, he was going to kind of cruise left a little bit and give me a nice shot at about 25. So I was kind of positioning for myself for that, but it was just a waiting game there. When he gave me a little bit more of a chance to look at him, you could tell he was an old deer. You could tell that this was kind of his turf and he'd been here for a while. He had that sagging belly. He looked like he was just a little bit older, maybe smaller than he should have been. Just a really, really nice, mature deer. And when I got that, you know, first saw his rack there, you know, that's the deer I thought we were looking for. But when we got to see a really good look at him, it was solidified. That was the deer. There was no questions, and all we needed to do was have him give us a shot. Seeing that deer, I had a little bit of buck fever, and it's kind of this weird half crouching, half standing position as you're getting up. So you may see me shaking just a little bit on that one, and that's all right. You know, good deer deserves that.
Well, this buck is approaching the position for a great shot. However, like Rayhan mentioned earlier, sometimes the wind can be your best friend or your worst enemy.
You know, communicating with Rusty, our cameraman, he's awesome, does a great job. One of the things in that tripod is tough is that one, I was on a swivel seat, so he was behind me. He was yelling at me, hold on, hold on, hold on. But with the wind and me focused on that buck, I could not hear him for the life of me. The deer came in. He was at a little over 15 yards, 12 yards. I think I got him. I think that was a pretty good shot. As soon as that arrow's gone, you know, the work's not done. You still got a lot more to do, but, you know, I feel like I was shaking like a leaf. I was so happy. And one of the first things we did was we got out that inReach and we sent Wade a message saying, hey, buck down, you know, we got it. After the shot, you know, you always want to see a deer go down as quickly as it can, and when it ducks into that brush, it starts kind of creeping in your mind the what ifs.
See your arrow? Yeah. Can you see the fletching?
Yeah.
Is it a different color at all?
The arrow?
Yeah.
No, I think there's blood on the fletching. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, let's give it 30 minutes.
Yeah.
When it comes to bow hunting, it's important to give the deer an ample amount of time to let nature take its course, even if you're confident you took a perfect shot. Once you're positive enough time has passed, it's time to start tracking.
In the stand, we could see there was blood right by the arrow. There's a little bit on the tree, so we knew that we had made a good shot on it. But sometimes it doesn't, immediately bleed as much as you want for a track. And so for that first little bit, we were seeing spots here, spots there. That's when your gut kind of starts flipping and you start running through everything again. And did I do this right? Did I do that right? Was it the shot that I thought it was? And at that point, all you can do is really start tracking it and start looking. And luckily we have some great people here, and almost immediately we came on just nice blood for it. 2 spots of it, so it looked like it was from both sides. I think probably within another 10-15 yards somebody hollered out, and when they hollered out, I knew we had it. I was pretty worried there right after we got down out of the tree. There wasn't as much blood as I had hoped, and it kind of died off there a little bit, but we caught onto a nice batch, and here he is. I mean, yeah, what an awesome deer. My goodness. He spent a lot of time in the season, or a lot of time in the stand this season, and just really wasn't able to connect. But then this thing came in, and I just couldn't believe it. It was finally all coming together. And I had that 0 on there, and it was right at 12 yards, and I was like, couldn't believe that that's where I thought it was going to be a further shot than that, and it's right on it, and here he is. Unbelievable.
You made a perfect shot right there, because he didn't go where, that's your tree right there.
Yeah.
He was running dead the whole time. When we talked about your hunt, the biggest thing, you didn't care how big he was as long as you made a good shot.
Yeah.
Your boss told me that you had shot the string off of this bow, that you had shot every day for lunch. And that's phenomenal. That means you care about the animal.
That's why this thing's so great. In my mind, it's that, you know exactly where you're shooting, the exact yardage. With wind, everything going on, around here and kind of going through the trees, that just really helped.
That's just too cool. I couldn't be happier.
Wade, I'll tell you what, I couldn't be happy either, so let me shake your hand again on that one. Awesome. Thank you. Hunt's wrapping up, and I've kind of just been looking back on it, and it's kind of all that, all the practice, all the arrows you're playing. First season with that 0, I couldn't have thought of a better way to end it. This entire season I was thinking about that 0 and that buck I was hoping to take with it, and at the end of the day, everything came together. We got a really nice mature buck that had been on this property for at least 7 years. Using that 0, we were able to get that exact shot that we needed. It went 35 yards and dropped. I don't know what more you could ask for. This is one of those hunts that everything comes together. I'm sure my next hunt's going to be pretty bad, but for the time being, I'm going to enjoy the moment.
Congratulations, Rayhan, on your first entry into the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries.